My name is Hinsel. I'm head of corporate ESG at the Hirschvogel Group. The Hirschvogel Group is located in Bavaria, headquarters. We are an international forging company, forging steel and aluminum components for the automotive industry. And my responsibility is the sustainability overall for the whole group, for 6,000 people. And I'm also human rights officer at Hirschvogel. Sustainability is an important strategic element for Hirschvogel because we are automotive supplier. So on the one end, we have the whole supply chain of raw materials that we get to produce our parts. And of course, at the other end, we have the customers downstream. And our customers are the full automotive industry, directly the car manufacturers, their suppliers. And they also set a high standard on sustainability expectations. It all started with, I think, the Lieferkettengesetz some years ago, the supply chain law in Germany, that we try to fulfill the demands. Then we are still preparing for the CSRD reporting, which we are obliged to from next year to report according to ESRS standard. And so step by step, we are trying to fulfill the different regulations, but first also our customer demands, like a strong decarbonization, reducing our carbon emissions worldwide step by step, year by year, and there we follow the targets of the Science-Based Targets Initiative. We started with everything with Excel, with Word, with the usual tools you have in your office, and I have a small team of 2 people in the ESG team, in the corporate ESG team. And first we try to understand the topics, we try to understand the legislation, the expectations, and then step by step, either we fill in reporting on platforms that are available on the market. And then over the years, we learned just working with Excel and so on, maybe limited over time. And then we learned some years ago, it's not good enough just to work in the handmade tools. And so we looked for software, and then we decided 2 or 3 years ago for Sapiens. We started with a supply intelligence tool, that time still called CSRD-Ready, or made for the LKSG, the German supply chain law. And then we expanded our software hub with a CSRD tool for the reporting. And here I have a colleague in purchasing. He is responsible for the whole supplier management process and also the legislative demands that are there, with regularly sending questionnaires to the suppliers, checking if there are any deviations worldwide, any incidents that we have to track. So he got an onboarding by Sapiens, and since then has been working closely together with Sapiens mainly. It was important to us for the selection of the platform that we have a stable platform that runs also in the cloud, not on single computers, but available also worldwide. We have 8 plants worldwide, 8 locations that also should fill in data then and work with the platform. And it was important to us that we see that the workflows, the logic behind the software, is not driven by IT logic, but driven by the legislative logic that is required, so that we can easily adapt our workflows to the workflows in the system. It's a big change for us now with having the reporting tool of Sapiens, because we are reporting annually about our sustainability performance year by year, still similar to the GRI standard, but we are developing now towards the CSRD standard. And here Sapiens was a big help, already starting with the double materiality analysis, because here we had the selection of IROs in the system, could easily adapt to our IROs and use the full functionality already in the first year for the double materiality analysis, and then had the basis for the reporting. And now our report is not fully compliant yet with CSRD, because we still have till 2027 for the full report to be audited. But we are on the way to it, and we already filled in all the Sapiens data points with text, with data, which is the basis for the future CSRD reporting. We are still working on improving our reporting structure in the company. We are not using yet the full functionality that Sapiens offers, but we are now on the way to setting it up properly across the 8 locations we have, that we define responsibilities in the plants who say, okay, they deliver data directly into the platform, and then we can just collect, double check, and then consolidate to the full reporting. We have the good transparency in the system. Again, a platform, a hub where everyone can access the data, can either enter data in his or her role, or also read the data and consolidate. And we also can transfer the data now to our final report. So that's extremely helpful. Also, the functionality of connecting, not only entering a data point by text, but also connecting with the documents behind, with the policies behind, with the regulations behind. So later on, you can still find, why did I enter this text, and is it proven by any policies behind it? And I'm quite convinced about the holistic concept of Sapiens, not to only provide single separate solutions in silos, but to really offer a complete solution for the whole implementation of sustainability, reporting, fulfilling demands, controlling KPIs, and then as basis for improvement of KPIs. And so we are looking at the corporate carbon footprint module, for example, that we don't have yet. It's not one software that you buy and then that's it, but there's a strong development year by year.